Welcome back to our Eternals character series. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Ajak, specifically about how her time on Earth completely changed her mind about the celestial order of the universe. Now, for Ajak, she was the original Eternal, created by Arishem to enact the Celestials' plan for the cosmos. She would lead the Eternals to new worlds. Upon arriving on these new worlds, she would aid in seeding life and allowing these civilizations to grow. And once they reach their zenith, a celestial would consume the life essence of that world and all of its people and would be born to continue the celestial order. Now, for Ajak, she continued this mission for millions of years before she arrived on Earth. She was essentially the only Eternal who knew of her prime directive, which was to seed life on these worlds so that they can be consumed by basically new celestials. This mission essentially made her cold. She was 100% dedicated to going to these new worlds, fostering these lives, watching these civilizations be erased, and then moving on to the next planet to continue doing the same thing. However, something changed about her time on Earth, and it has a lot to do with all of the different things that were going on, not only with the Eternals, but just on Earth in general. Because we see that when she's on Earth, she's essentially the leader. Her saying goes, they follow her orders. However, around the time of Babylon, when the city was on fire, there was a divide amongst the Eternals. Some of them wanted to use their abilities to basically strong arm humanity and push them down a better path, while the others basically kind of wanted to just let humanity do what they were doing and live their lives in peace. Instead of giving a command that all the Eternals would follow, she allowed them to essentially follow their heart. They had their split. Athena and Gilgamesh went off on their own, Makari went off on her own, Druig had already left, and for Ikaris and Circe, they went off on their own to live their married life. But for Ajak, she took that time to travel the world, get to know humanity. We see her pop up every once in a while talking to Ikaris, or when she popped up to talk to Phastos after humanity had developed a nuclear bomb and wiped out an entire city off the face of the planet. But everything changed with Thanos, because up until that point, Ajak was essentially an observer. She had the same mentality as Ikaris. She could watch the humans without becoming attached to the humans, because she understood what the Celestial Order was. Humanity would develop, it would reach its zenith, it would be consumed, and from that, Tiamat, a new Eternal, would be born. But Thanos changed everything. Because Thanos, and I'm pretty sure that Ajak knew of Thanos' eternal heritage, Thanos wiped out half of all life in the universe. And upon doing so, instead of despairing, instead of being an insignificant planet that they would be stuck on for a longer duration of time until the Eternal was born, humanity resisted. Not only did they resist, they achieved wonders. They collected all of the Infinity Stones, they traveled through time, and they defeated the Mad Titan twice in combat and brought back life across the entirety of the universe, which is something that not even the Celestials were able to accomplish. Which, sidebar, there has to be a question about whether or not the Celestials also were wiped out, because they are created from nothing but, let's say, the life force of the universe and the life force of these planets, and they seed new worlds. That would mean that the Celestials are abundant in life. When Thanos snapped away half of all life, half of the Celestials should have also been decimated as well. And I feel as though this also factors into basically her having a new outlook on humanity. Humanity opened up her eyes to the realization that mortals could accomplish things beyond even the wildest dream of the Celestials, and it wasn't right for them to essentially dictate which civilizations could live and which civilizations could die. And in that moment, she realized that the Celestials' order was wrong, that they were wiping out these civilizations that could have had the potential to change the entire universe. By destroying them when they were exceedingly young, they never got to see what these civilizations would have become. Would they have reordered the universe in a meaningful way, the same way that the Celestials did? Would they have wiped themselves out and proven to be mediocre? Their lives, the civilization's path, was theirs to decide. It was no longer for the Eternals themselves or the Celestials to decide, because these people, humans, aliens, Skrulls, didn't matter, had a right to dictate how their lives went, how their civilizations would progress. And of course, we see essentially the end of that idea, where for Ajak, she was able to change. However, the other person that she would have relied on to also change decided not to. Ikaris decided that, no, the Celestial Order is the order. We've been doing this for millions of years. We've been serving our gods, and we will continue to serve our gods. But even Ikaris changed. He didn't want to become human, essentially. He's always been standoffish and thought of himself above humanity. But at the end, he succumbed to the most basic of human emotions. He also fell in love. And no matter how much he also tried to fight against his own nature of the orders that he was given, he still chose Cersei over his own orders when he joined in with the Unimind, which is one of the reasons that I love that in her final moments, she forgave Ikaris, because she understood that even though Ikaris was killing her and he was fulfilling essentially the directive of the Celestials, not in killing her, but the directive of allowing the planet to die, that Ikaris also had the potential to change, because she had seen him go from a cold soldier to a human man. Well, not of course a human man, he was still a Celestial, but still, he had human emotions, and I like that. I like the fact that she didn't put up a fight against essentially Ikaris, even though we know that she could probably give Ikaris some go, because earlier in the movie, she did restrain Thena when the others could not. Now, I love the Eternals so much. Like, I understand that a lot of people did not like the Eternals as much. They felt that there were definitely a lot of plot holes, which there are. The Eternals movie, like I've said many times before, was essentially a setup movie that was to introduce a few characters onto the Marvel MCU landscape and never have the Eternals actually form back up again. But I absolutely love the relationships and the personalities of all the characters in the Eternals, and I do enjoy doing these series. And this is going to be the end of this episode on Ajak. If you made it to the end of this episode, I thank you very, very much. If you are new to the channel, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Or don't turn off and just hear me sniffle because I have a cold. Ugh.